Have you ever heard something so weird and funny about a country that you had to double-check if it was true? Well, get ready. Today we're going on a trip around the world, not to explore famous places, but to uncover the most random and fun facts you probably never heard before. Some will make you laugh. Some will surprise you. And some will leave you totally speechless. If you enjoy curious facts and love discovering strange things about the world, then go ahead and hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe. This channel is full of crazy, interesting videos just like this one. Alright, let's jump into it. Japan has a museum that is all about rocks, but not just any rocks, rocks that look like faces. Seriously, they've collected hundreds of them. Imagine walking into a museum and being stared at by a bunch of silent, stone-faced pebbles. Only in Japan. Iceland has a rule where you can't name your baby anything you want. There's actually a list of approved names. If your name isn't on the list, you need special permission. Yep, even your baby's name has to fit the Icelandic language rules. Italy once banned sandcastles. Some towns along the coast got so tired of people leaving messy castles on the beach that they started handing out fines. So if you're planning a beach day, maybe bring a towel, not a bucket and shovel. India has a temple run by rats. Yes, hundreds of rats live there, and they are not only protected but also fed with milk and sweets. The locals believe these rats are holy and bring blessings. Just don't scream when one runs past you. South Korea has silent karaoke. Imagine stepping into a private booth and singing your heart out, but no sound comes out. You wear headphones and only you can hear your voice on the music. Perfect if you love to sing but hate to perform. Thailand once held the world's largest water fight during their New Year festival, Songkran. The entire country turns into a giant splash zone. Strangers soak each other with buckets, hoses, and even elephants with water guns. Germany has a law that says your pillow can be considered a passive weapon in court. Yes, if you hit someone with a pillow in the wrong way, you could technically be charged. So next time you're in a pillow fight in Germany, be careful. Switzerland has a rule where you can't flush the toilet after 10 p.m. in some apartment buildings. Why? Because the sound of the toilet might disturb the neighbor's sleep. Quiet hours are taken very seriously there. Finland celebrates a day called National Sleepy Head Day. On this day, the last person in the house to wake up gets thrown into a lake. Or at least gets water dumped on them. It's a real tradition. Brazil has a tribe where people put their hands into gloves filled with angry bullet ants, on purpose. They do this to prove their strength. The ant's sting feels like being burned and stabbed at the same time, but they still do it with a straight face. Mexico hosts a Night of the Radishes. Every year in December, people carve radishes into animals, faces, and scenes. It's like a veggie version of a sculpture contest, and yes, it's taken very seriously. Philippines has a festival where people cover themselves in mud and wear dried banana leaves. It's called the Taong Putik Festival, and people do it to honor a saint, but it definitely looks wild. Spain has a town where once a year, people throw tomatoes at each other. It's called La Tomatina, and it's basically a giant food fight. After 20 minutes, the streets are red, slippery, and totally squishy. France had a law for many years where you were required to have a personal wine bottle holder in your car. That's right, it was more common to have wine than water in some parts of the country. China has a bridge made of glass, hundreds of feet in the air, that cracks under your feet on purpose, as a joke. Don't worry, it doesn't really break, but it makes people scream like crazy when it starts to crack. Pakistan has a truck art culture. Trucks are covered from top to bottom with colorful paintings, mirrors, and lights. Some even have poetry on them. The brighter the truck, the better the driver's pride. New Zealand has more sheep than people, around 5 sheep for every 1 person. If there's ever a sheep rebellion, the humans are outnumbered. Russia has a library for smells. They collect scents like wet cement or old books, and store them in bottles to help remember certain times in history. Imagine a museum where you don't look, you sniff. USA has a town where it's illegal to walk backward while eating a donut. In fact, there are tons of weird local laws like this across the country. No one's sure why, but they're still on the books. Indonesia has a volcano that glows bright blue at night. It's not a magic trick. The gases inside the volcano burn blue when they catch fire. It looks like something from a fantasy movie. Greece celebrates a holiday where people jump over babies. Yes, real babies. It's part of a tradition to cleanse them of evil spirits, and it's been going on for centuries. Morocco has goats that climb trees. Not just one or two, entire groups of goats balancing in the branches like birds. They do it to eat fruit from the argan tree, and yes, it looks hilarious. Nigeria has a festival where men dress up in full costumes to entertain spirits. These masked men dance, spin, and even climb trees, all while never speaking a single word. Locals believe they become spirits for that one day. Kazakhstan is home to a desert where the sand actually sings. When the wind blows, it makes a humming sound like music. People say it feels like the land is singing to you. Malta once had a cat that lived in a government building and had its own official ID badge. It was treated like a staff member, people even left it notes and emails. Norway has a tradition where people hide their brooms on Christmas Eve. Why? Because long ago, they believed witches came out that night and would steal brooms to fly around. Scotland once tried to make a unicorn its national animal, and it worked. The unicorn is actually on Scotland's coat of arms. Why? Because it's powerful, magical, and totally untouchable, just like how they see themselves. South Africa has a hotel inside a giant shoe. Yes, a real shoe-shaped house you can sleep in. It's inspired by the old nursery rhyme, and it's an actual tourist spot. Tonga once had a king who was so big, he was the heaviest monarch in recorded history. He even made the Guinness World Records, but was still deeply loved by his people. Vatican City is the smallest country in the world, but it has its own radio station, police force, and even an ATM in Latin, the only one of its kind. Uzbekistan has a city where every building has beautiful blue tiles that sparkle in the sun. It looks like a giant mosaic puzzle when viewed from above. Nepal has a living goddess, a young girl chosen from childhood, who lives in a temple and is worshipped by locals until she reaches puberty. Palau has jellyfish lakes where you can swim with thousands of jellyfish that don't sting. It feels like floating through a dream, and people say it's one of the most peaceful experiences ever. Liechtenstein is so small that it once rented itself out to strangers for a day. You could rename the streets, make fake laws, and pretend to rule a country. And that's it. The world is definitely full of strange, funny, and surprising things, and we've only scratched the surface. Every country has its own little twist, and sometimes, those are the best things to learn. Thanks for joining me on this fun ride around the world. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment with the country that surprised you the most, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss our next weird and wonderful adventure. See you in the next one.